SCPs are some of the scariest creatures on planet Earth, and today we're going to be learning a little bit more about one called Grammie Knows Best. How could a grandmom be scary? There's no way.
The young woman laughs as her date tries to catch
Is that the grandmom?
The dancing rhythm game was much harder than he anticipated, and he can't help but also laugh at his abysmal score.
It's contagious.
And the two continue walking through the arcade. It's not crowded at all tonight, and the two have their choice of games as they bounce between the many
That's the best, when an arcade is just empty and it feels like it's all to yourself.
A game of air hockey, her date notices something.
What is
It's
it?
a door in the back of the arcade that's slightly ajar.
Oh,
and a lock
secret
that should be
arcade
keeping closed
games.
hanging open.
Yes.
I wonder what's in there.
Comment down below if you would go
Broken
into a
games,
secret room
maybe
in an
ones that let you
arcade.
play without putting in a token, or keep spitting out tickets even when you lose. Come on. The two slip through the cracked door and find themselves in a dark room that doesn't look like anyone has been inside in a
Whoa,
while.
spoopy.
There's cobwebs and dust everywhere, but her date was right. The room
Yes.
is filled with broken
Secret
games.
arcade
He motions for her to
machines.
follow as he checks out an old pinball machine. He presses the buttons, but it remains dark. He gives it a hard slap and nothing happens.
I'm kind of curious,
disappointing.
where does the
They really are just
grandmom come
busted
into
old
play?
machines. The two turn to leave. They might get kicked out if anyone finds them messing around in here.
Look in the background.
They're back at the door when they both stop and look at each other.
Is that a
Did they
grandmom?
hear something behind them?
What was that?
The
Ah,
young woman
okay.
shrieks with fear at the sight of the old woman staring
Oh
at her.
my gosh.
This time, it's her date's turn to laugh at her. It's just an old fortune teller.
Huh?
Nothing to be scared of.
Oh.
They must have accidentally turned it on.
Okay, guys, so this SCP is not a literal grandmom. It is kind of like a fortune teller, it looks like. It reminds me a lot of, what's his name? Like Zoltar or like the Akinator, where you can go up, put in, you know, like $2 these days, and then it'll give you a random fortune that literally, I don't know, it has like nothing to do with you. But I have a weird feeling that this grandmom is going to actually be able to tell them their future. And if I had to guess, will probably make it not what they want to hear. I have a weird feeling these fortunes are going to be deadly.
She didn't notice it before, but the machine, which has the words Grandmother Predictions written across the top, has come to life, and the inside is now lit up to reveal the animatronic head and torso of an old woman. The old woman isn't moving, but her glassy, dead eyes seem like they are staring
That is
right
so
at the young woman.
creepy.
The two look at each other, unsure of what to do, when, without warning, the old woman comes
Oh,
to
it's...
life.
Wait,
With the
she
clicking
just
and
turned
roaring of
on?
tears, the old woman appears to breathe in
What?
deeply, opening and closing her mouth as she leans slightly forward and back inside her glass container. The young woman steps towards the fortune teller as the old
Why?
woman inside keeps
No.
breathing in and out.
You should be
But
walking
then
backwards.
suddenly, the old woman stops. There's another loud click as a card appears out of a small slot on the front of
Oh.
the machine.
That must
She
be
looks down
the
at
first
card, then
fortune.
looks back up to see that the old woman is staring at her once again.
She's like,
as if the
read
robotic
it
figure
now.
can Really, truly see her.
That is
The
so
young woman
weird.
slowly reaches towards the card.
I'm getting
as
the
old woman's gaze
EBGBs.
stays locked on her. Her fingers touch the card, and at the exact moment she pulls it free, the fortune teller's lights go out, and the old woman
What?
slumps over. What was that?
So she knows if somebody
She
takes
didn't
the
even notice that
fortune.
He is standing next to her now. He starts to search around the machine, looking for something that may have triggered it, as the young woman looks down at the card she pulled from the slot. Her face changes as she reads it. As
What
she
is
goes
it?
From a little freaked out.
What
to
does it
completely
say?
terrified. Hey, look at this, her date says as
What
she quickly
is
slips
it?
the card into her pocket. Her date reaches behind the back of the machine and pulls out a short piece of cord, one end attached to the fortune
It was
teller,
never
the
plugged
other
in to
frayed as if
begin
it had
with.
been cut. It's not even plugged in. Let's get out of here. She tells him.
What the
She doesn't need
flip?
to ask him twice, and the two leave the room, emerging back into the lights and sounds of the arcade. Later that night, the two are at the door to the young
Wait,
woman's
she
apartment.
didn't read
He
it to
asks
him
if she's
right
sure
there?
She's okay. She's not still scared about that broken machine, is she?
What?
It's probably just battery operated and they switched it on somehow.
I
The
don't
woman
know
agrees
about
must
that,
be it,
dude.
and that she's fine, just tired. She gives him a kiss on the cheek and bids him goodnight before going into her apartment and closing the door.
Guys, I wonder if on the card it said something not about her, but about her date that night, which is why she's not telling him. Like maybe it said, oh, don't tell your date or else he will get eaten by a shark in a tornado or something weird like that. I don't know. But there's definitely some reason why she's not telling him.
Inside, the young woman leans against the door.
What does it
She
say?
takes something out of her pocket and stares at it. It's the fortune that was dispensed from
Tell
the
me
machine.
what it says,
It
dude. I
reads,
need to know.
You look like you've made some mistakes. Some things are unforgivable, aren't they?
Oh, it's a lot worse than
No
I
way,
thought.
she thinks to herself. It's just a coincidence.
So
The young woman walks
this
further
girl
into her
did
apartment
something
and
really
picks up a
bad.
framed photo. It's a picture of her several years younger, with another girl who looks just like her.
Oh,
sister.
no.
She thinks back to
Oh,
that
no,
night, the night that
dude.
she'll never forget, no matter how hard she tries. The night she lost her, and lost part of herself, too.
That's so sad.
She sets the picture back down on the table before looking at the fortune she's still holding in her other hand. She crumples the paper in her fist and drops it in the trash before heading to bed.
I would be so creeped out because, like, that's one of those things where if you read that, you wouldn't be, like, that creeped out. You would be like, ooh, that's kind of weird. But I guess, like, it could apply to a lot of different situations. But specifically for her, she kind of thinks that the SCP, the grandmother knows, fortune teller, knows about this thing where she got into a car crash and her sister passed away. And it was kind of her fault. And the grandmother, since we know that she's an SCP, I'm guessing grandmother knows is an SCP that can, like, read people's minds. It basically can know everything about you, and then it will give you fortunes based on what it wants you to know, or like what it wants you to think that it knows. And then I bet you she'll probably go back at some point, and every single fortune is going to get a little bit more specific, a little bit creepier, until something really bad happens, and I need to find out what it is.
It's late at night, and the young woman is tossing and turning with bad dreams when she suddenly pops up awake. Did she hear a sound? She looks around her dim
Oh,
room.
please tell me
but
it's not the
nothing looks
Grammie. Nah.
A
This
noise.
better not be the
Is it
grandmom.
coming from
Dude.
the closet?
Oh, maybe it's her
She gets up
sister?
out of bed and walks towards the closet, one slow step after another. She reaches towards the closet door, but the moment her fingers touch the knob, the door breaks.
Oh!
She screams and falls backwards as multiple arms
What?
reach out of the darkness in the closet.
What?
towards her.
What
She
is this?
screams and kicks at the
What
arms
is
as they
this?
grab at her, trying
What?
to pull her inside. She fights with all her might.
It's just
and
a
she tries
nightmare,
to crawl
right?
Away from the arms.
There's no
She
way this is
manages to
real.
escape their grasp and stands
No
up. She
way.
runs out of the room and towards the front door as the arms follow, reaching out of the closet.
Oh,
growing longer and longer. The
what
sticking
is
stones
happening?
twisting and snapping as they form new joints to bend around corners. Her hands reach out for the knob and
Go.
she grabs it.
Get-
Just as the
Ah!
arms grab
It got
her.
her.
She's jerked backwards and falls to the
It
floor. as the
got her.
arms
She's
drag her down the
gone.
hallway. She tries to resist, her fingernails digging into the floorboards as the arms pull her back into the bedroom. Hello?
Okay, I
You
did
awake?
not see
The
that
woman
happening
knocks loudly on the
at
front door.
all.
Come on, we have reservations. You have to get up. The
Is that
woman
her
knocks
mom?
Again, but still no response. She checks her
No.
watch and with a sigh takes out a set of keys.
Did her
She
mom
finds the one she's
lose
looking
both
for
of her
and unlocks the
daughters
door.
now?
Everyone is waiting for us, and I'm gonna tell
That
them
would
we're
be
late
so
because of-"
sad.
The woman gasps as she opens the door. She can't believe what she's seeing. The apartment is a mess. It looks like a bomb went off. She looks around, but there's no sign of her daughter. Then she notices the bloody claw marks leading down the hallway
Oh,
towards the bedroom.
no.
She runs down the hall, stops in the doorway to the bedroom, and screams.
Oh!
If you've ever
Whoa!
been to an arcade,
What?
a midway, or a boardwalk, then you may have encountered a fortune-telling machine.
I
These
mean,
flat
I
booths
have.
contain
Comment down
an
below if
automaton
you guys
that great
have.
fun as you receive a random card that purports to tell you your future or
I will
reveal a
never
secret
be
truth
using
about
one
yourself.
ever again.
There's nothing to it, obviously. It's just a random card you're getting after all. But the SCP Foundation has a fortune-telling machine in its possession that's both very real and very dangerous. SCP-517, as it is known to the Foundation, is a 2-meter-tall glass and wooden fortune-telling machine that contains
Okay.
a mechanical animatronic facsimile of an elderly woman wearing
Yeah,
a
it
white
seems
blouse and a blue
Pretty
shawl.
normal. You would find this at, like,
On top of the
any
machine is a panel
carnival.
with the words "Grandmother Predictions" written on it. Once per hour, the machine will power on if an individual enters what could be considered the elderly woman's field of vision. She will turn to directly face the person, seeming to stare right at them, before dispensing a fortune card from a slot on the front of the machine, after which it will appear to shut down and cease to function. It is unknown just how the machine becomes active, seeing as the only cord coming out of the back of the machine appears to have been severed.
I mean, apparently for this
The
guy, he said
fortunes
batteries,
dispensed
so
when
maybe.
the machine comes to life are less a prediction and more of a veiled threat. And examples of ones received have included, "Your mother raised you better than that. I'm sorry, but fair is fair." Some people don't know how to be kind. You'll know soon enough, won't you? And people who do terrible things deserve terrible things. You've brought this upon yourself, my dear.
Okay, so a lot of these are basically kind of hinting at the fact that the person did something really bad and something unforgivable, so that like they deserve to be punished by the grandmom inside of this fortune-telling machine. So I wonder what would happen if like a really good person, or like what if like a kid even goes up to this and then gets a fortune. I feel like, I don't know, there's probably going to be like a flip side of this where if it's a good person going up to the fortune teller or somebody that hasn't done anything that bad in their life, maybe they'll get rewarded. Maybe, I don't know, like chocolate chip cookies will come out or something that, a grandmom would give you. Maybe like a gift card for Amazon, something good to reward you for being a good person.
Following an activation of SCP-517, starting at 1:43 a.m. local time, the same events will always occur. The individual that was targeted by the machine will find themselves attacked by a number of entities which have been designated as SCP-517-01.
Okay, so they're always a bunch
These
of hands.
These are long, multi-jointed arms that emanate from a location nearby the individual. The exact number that appears
Imagine those coming out of a toilet.
Usually seems to be between 10 and 36.
36!
The arms will appear from a single location that's often a low, cramped, and dark space like a closet, basement, or under a bed. The arms will reach out from this area and try to grab the individual before dragging them back to the location where they manifested.
I would
They
pee
appear
my
to be able to
pants.
stretch indefinitely, growing as long as they need in order to continue pursuing the
Indefinitely?
individual,
So
and
they
many
could
joints
basically
allow
go
them to bend
forever.
around corners or any other obstacles. Should the individual manage to fight the arms off or escape,
What if I had like
new
a
arms will
sword? What if I
materialize
just
nearby
bang,
the
bang,
victim
bang?
to aid in the capture.
Oh, he just said new
Once the
arms would
have
spawn.
subdued the targeted person and gotten them back to the area where they appeared, they will begin savagely assaulting them, beating and clawing at them until nothing remains of the
What?
victim but a bloody pile of flesh and
That
bones.
is
To date,
horrible.
The Foundation is not aware of any targeted individuals surviving
you
an attack
serious?
by SCP-517-01 entities. In the event that the fortune-telling machine was activated multiple times on the same day, multiple instances of arms appearing
you
will occur
serious?
at different locations at the same time, with each group hunting their own individual target.
What?
Efforts have been made to figure out exactly where the arms manifest from.
This would make for
And
a
during
really good
testing,
horror
cameras
movie.
were set up around the targeted individual in order to try and locate a place of origin. Unfortunately, the arms somehow seemed aware that they were being watched, and the arms always emanated from around a corner or other place that was out of the field of view of the cameras.
Interesting.
Tests on SCP-517 did reveal one piece of evidence, though, as fragments of DNA were recovered from the areas where SCP-517-01 instances appeared.
Oh.
DNA that turned out to be human in origin. The
So-
origins of the
what?
DNA and the identity of the owner have yet to be
So
determined.
the arms are human
Research and
arms.
containment of SCP-517
which is super
has
weird.
proven to be quite difficult, as evidenced by an event designated Incident 517-1997-M. As Foundation Agent Dr. Mail supervised the transport of SCP-517 to a new containment storage locker, the fortune teller suddenly activated, and it was
No.
suspected that Dr. Mail had become a target. Security
Also, wait a second, guys. I'm kind of curious. What happens if you don't take the fortune? Like, what if you are just, you see it come on, you see the fortune come out, and then you just don't pick it up? Will it still activate?
personnel were alerted, and a defensive strategy was devised to protect her from instances of SCP-517-01 that were expected to manifest that night at 1:43 a.m. Dr. Mail was taken
Oh,
to a
this is pretty
helicopter on
cool.
the roof of a Foundation cafeteria and given the protection of multiple security personnel as they waited for the arms to manifest. Right on cue, the arms appeared in a storage area inside the cafeteria.
Okay, so she didn't take the fortune that we know of anyway. So even if you don't take it, it seems like as soon as Grandmom Nose turns on and looks at you, you are now a target and you will be attacked at 1:43 in the morning.
Began stretching their way towards the roof. Security teams inside the cafeteria opened fire on the arms, which took damage just like normal human arms, though they would quickly be replaced by more. More instances of SCP-517-01 began appearing, coming out from under parked vehicles and other storage areas, as the number of arms coming out of the original manifestation site continued to increase until there were over 100. The arms
Okay,
did not
they
seem to
just
want to
kept
fight back against the
spawning.
security teams, though. They seemed singular in their focus, to get to the roof where Dr. Mail was waiting.
Wow.
As the ever-increasing amount of limbs overwhelmed the security teams and breached the roof, the order was given for the helicopter to take off. The helicopter rose into the air.
Oh, they're gonna grab
the
it.
arms began manifesting from somewhere underneath the helicopter itself.
What?
The arms broke through the windows.
Oh
and pulled
my
Dr.
God,
Mail
it got
out,
her.
passing her down to the waiting arms on the roof that then carried her through the
serious?
cafeteria's ventilation system. A security personnel in the cafeteria attempted to sever the limbs with a knife and rescue Dr. Mail, but the arms are no longer ignoring their attackers and grabbed him as well,
they just started
dragging
fighting.
him down towards
Oh,
the storage
wow.
locker, along with the doctor. In the end,
So guys, this SCP is kind of like Shy Guy in a way. If you look at Shy Guy, you know for a fact that Shy Guy will find you and he will kill you no matter where you are. You could be at the bottom of the ocean, you could be in outer space, and Shy Guy will still find a way to get you. And it seems like this SCP is kind of the same way. If Grammie nose turns on and looks at you and makes eye contact with you, you know for certain that there's nothing you could do to escape.
4 members of the security team, along with Dr. Mail, were pulled into the storage area by the arms. Their remains were collected the next morning, and the Foundation made their best efforts to separate and identify what was left for individual funerary services. SCP-517, which has been classified as safe, is kept in a dedicated containment cell at all times, facing away from the doorway, with an opaque black sheet bound around it.
I'm surprised that it was classified as safe and not Euclid, because it does seem pretty dangerous, but I guess it is very easily contained and secured because you could just cover it, and then it seems like, you know, nobody's at risk anymore of getting a fortune. So I guess that's why they probably made it into a safe class.
Following the events of Incident 517-1997-M, all testing has been halted without the express written permission of the site director. Peering into our future can be a fun activity, even when we know it's all just a bit of make-believe. When you pull your fortune from a booth containing an elderly automaton, though, you might just find that this time, Grammie knows your fate for real.
Start beating it up
Now
immediately.
another entry.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is definitely the creepiest grandmom on planet Earth. If you guys enjoyed and do want to see more, by the way, make sure you guys leave a like and click right here to learn more about SCPs.